Welcome to Inside Leisure World number 15. In the absence of Bill Doan, I will be your guest host today. My name is Betty Martin, a resident of Leisure World for 12 years. I'm currently a member of the Leisure World Video Producers Club. We bring you shows of local public interest, which air on Comcast Cable Channel 3. I'm usually on the other side of the camera, so if I mess up today, well, just say I did it on purpose, so Bill Doan will think we can't get along without him. You know, he's always so cool, laid back and suave and debonair. My guest today is also a suave, debonair Bill, Mr. Bill Narang, Leisure World Administrator. We've invited Mr. Narang today to talk to you about the healthcare center inside Leisure World. Bill Narang, welcome. We're so glad you can be here today. And who do you have with you?
Thank you, Betty. It's my pleasure to introduce to all of you and all of your viewers, the president of the Golden Rain Foundation Board of Directors, Mrs. Mildred Tuttle. She's here with me.
How do you do?
It's nice being here.
So glad you can be here with us. We are going to talk about the healthcare center today, and just briefly, maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about the history and background of the healthcare center inside Leisure World.
Well, as you know, Seal Beach Leisure World is a community for the residents who live there. Now they total almost 9,000 people, and one of the objectives of Leisure World community has been to provide services for its residents, and a healthcare center is one of the very important functions that the community developed back in 1962, and the developers in those days and residents, futures, have felt that that was one of the best service that retired people in their golden years would enjoy having a healthcare center on site.
What is the extent of the use of that healthcare center by the residents?
At present, we have approximately close to 4,000 people who have either joined as members to the different health maintenance organizations, or they may be on Medicare, and they may also be able to use for fee purpose. This healthcare center, Betty, is not a healthcare center for people outside of Leisure World. This is for the residents. Anyone can use it, anytime they can use it. Either they can have an HMO, or they can pay for any service that they are looking for.
What type of services are we talking about? What type of services are provided there?
Healthcare center is there for the residents to make their physician appointments, their regular checkups. If they have some special needs, they may want to have some specialists come there to see them for their special requirements. They can also go for physical therapy. They can also go and pick up their prescriptions there. They are also free to use for consulting services. We have a social service department there where some residents who are willing to look for some help, assistance in certain areas. So primarily it's like your normal doctor's offices that you can go and visit, get your lab work even done there.
Is that right?
Right. And another thing you can do also as a resident of Leisure World, if you join any of the program, that you can get pre-preparation done or checkup done for going into the hospital at Los Alamitos Medical Center for any elective surgeries.
So they can do that prior to you going. You don't even have to go to the hospital for your prereq
registrations stuff. And you can, if you have some lab work done, some people do that too, there. And another thing people can do, and using the healthcare center, besides seeing your doctor, going for physical therapy, you can get other nurses for emergency response. You can do that. And we have ambulance services on site. They can, in case of real emergency needs, people can get services inside Leisure World very quickly.
Well, I attest to that. My stepfather has fallen quite a number of times, and we just have to call and they would send somebody over to help get him up off the floor. We wouldn't have to have the 911 because he wouldn't be hurt, but they would come and assist getting him up off the floor. Is that a normal procedure, or?
Well, we want to tell the residents, you know, that in case of an emergency, the best advice still is to call 911. You should call 911 because you as a individual don't know the extent of the injury or the need, and professionals at 911 are the only one who can really truly determine, you know, what is needed. What happens when you call 911, in addition to 911 calling the paramedics, the fire departments, our own nursing staff can visit you at that time, and also our security personnel can also reach there before even 911 gets there.
Oh, that's good to know, too. You want to tell us a little bit about what happened during the flood of 1995 and what was the extent of the damages to the building?
Well, we had a very unfortunate incident happen in 1995, as many of our residents know, because they did have damage to their personal property, and it was really sad thing that happened to us. But however, there was a tremendous blessing that we had, that we had no loss of life, and we were able to minimize our property losses to the community. However, one of the major losses that we had suffered was to the common area, and healthcare center was one of the buildings which had tremendous water damage inside all of the buildings, and we had to evacuate that area in 1995. And the board of directors decided that for the convenience of the residents, we could not close our healthcare center. We did proper analysis, proper study, and the board decided for the benefit of the residents, we should keep our healthcare center open. And they made the decision to move the healthcare center operation to the clubhouse number 3. And we immediately, you know, made all the arrangements and got involved with the Red Cross, got involved with Los Alamitos Medical Center, their staff, nursing, and we moved all the physicians there. And within a matter of days, we had a full-fledged healthcare center operating in Clubhouse 3. And at that time, the board also determined that, you know, there is a question of the age of the building. There was question of future additional demand for the building, for the community. As you know, our community is growing in age, and people are even more active now than we ever had before.
That's true.
But the board felt that there is a need for planning. And while we moved the Clubhouse 3, the healthcare center operation, the board deliberated, discussed, and decided that we need to do some temporary restoration in that building. But in the long run, for the community, it is probably the best thing that we should look for alternative plans of creating a replacement building for the healthcare center.
Have we outgrown that, or is it just?
Well, population of our community has not grown. However, the needs have grown. As you know, our average age is now 79 years old, and more and more people are looking for convenient place where they can go for their healthcare needs. And that created a desire on the part of the board to upgrade the facility, make sure we have modern state-of-the-art equipment, conveniences, look for the residents where they can get the services. And those different factors added into that.
Okay. What are the plans for the replacement building of the healthcare center?
Well,
maybe we could have the roll-in and...
our plans for the Golden Rain Foundation, we are in the process of right now selecting the site. As you see on your screen now, this is the Leisure World Healthcare Center A-frame building called, and in this building we have right now the administrative offices. As you look around this complex, we have our healthcare center, our emergency nursing in there, we have the lifeline system in there, all of the doctors' offices are in there, the lab work is done inside. As you look at the complex, it is quite an operation where residents can go in and either board the bus and go to the Los Alamitos Medical Center as they come in. Not only that they can just go and visit their doctors there, but they happen to go to the hospital, they can board the bus there. So this present complex has most of the services located in 4 different buildings. As you know, I mentioned the A-frame building, then we have the medical center building, then we have the 3rd building that you're going to see is going to be the pharmacy building. And then we have another building we have in this complex was the 2-story old administration building where all of the office work was done. What you see on your screen now is the temporary location where we placed modulars so that physicians can be moved temporarily while we build the new building into these modulars. And they are really beautiful. I had the opportunity with Ms. Tuttle this morning to go and visit how the doctors have moved into this location. And again, the old two-story administration building and the pharmacy buildings are going to remain while we do the construction on this project. Our plans are to maintain the old 2-story building. This is that model that we have created, and this model clearly shows you, I hope you get a good shot of that. If not, if many of your viewers would like to come and visit the healthcare center, this model is there. They can see it.
It's on display.
It's on display in the community in the healthcare center. This location will have a new building of approximately 29,000 square feet. It's going to be a single-story building. It will show you on this model that we will maintain the old 2-story administration building there. We will create additional parking. We will have the pharmacy operation, the physical therapy, the doctor's offices, the specialist, ophthalmology. All of this is going to go into the new building the way the new building is located. I know many of our residents are very familiar with where the Twiggy used to be, that green area we have.
Yes.
This new building is going to be built pretty much next to the administration building, right in front of the amphitheater ramp we have, and it will take some of the space of the old healthcare center building. Part of the healthcare center building will be demolished now, and then the new building will go at that location. So this model gives you a good picture of what is going on, and probably residents are already seeing some activity at the site, and the board selected this site to be sure that we will have less inconvenience for the residents and we can continue to maintain the operation of the healthcare center.
That really looks like it's going to be terrific, but everybody is asking, what's the total cost of this project and how is the new replacement building going to be paid for? I guess you know that is the big question.
Well, this one question probably everybody's asking, and I want you to know how responsible the Golden Rain Foundation board has been in the last 3 years since we've been going through the planning stage of this project. And Ms. Tuttle, as president of the Golden Rain Foundation, is very familiar, and previous presidents, you know, that has been one question that everybody's been asking, how are we going to finance this project? Well, we really thought very carefully and very, very responsibly, because we wanted to make sure that creating this project and having this healthcare center building should not mean increase in the carrying charges for our residents. And in that, keeping that in mind, we began the process of looking at financial aspect of it. And the board looked at financing options. Board looked at having third party come in and build the building. Board looked at it asking for some kind of loans, you know, from various regulatory agencies. But in the final analysis, it was the determination of the board that it would be best thing that we use our own capital funds. And the total cost of this project is going to be $2.6 million for the building itself, and about an additional $300,000 for some additional expenses the board has allocated for this project. So you're talking approximately $2.9 to $3 million that this project is going to take. And we do have sufficient reserve accounts. We planned it very well for years and years to create the replacement building. And this means no increase to the assessment charges of the residents. So about $3 million will take care of this project.
And it'll be free and clear when it's finished then?
When this project is constructed, Golden Rain Foundation has made the decision not to borrow any money, not to create any kind of encumbrances on the building. We have been planning and maintaining a very healthy reserve and capital fund. And the purpose of that fund is to replace, repair, rehab community facilities. And this is one of the community facilities. But the second beautiful thing, not only that we're going to use our health care project money out of the reserve accounts, the Golden Rain Board also instructed me to look in the possibility of it. How can we get some of the money back, And the present building gives us a rent at this time. We have a management agreement with Los Alamitos Medical Center. And the planning is that the new building will generate $480,000 a year rent in the first year.
Do they pay us rent now?
Yes, ma'am.
For the old buildings?
Yes, ma'am. We're getting $240,000 a year rent for our building right now.
Do the doctors pay rent too?
No, our agreement is with Los Alamitos Medical Center, and they have the responsibility of managing the affairs of the healthcare center operation under the management agreement and lease agreement with the Golden Rain Foundation. So the doctors are paid, and they have their agreement with the Los Alamitos Medical Center as to how they operate.
I see. Let's see, what's this next? What if any changes are going to be made to the contract with the Los Alamitos Medical Center for managing the new healthcare center? Did we cover that?
Well, one of the big things we're going to do, in the changing the contract, that we want, since we're building the new building, and we believe, and the board believes, that we should be given higher rent. And what we're going to do is we're going to double the rent, more than double actually, $480,000. Once the building is completed, the very first year, we will receive $480,000 for the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth year. And in the sixth year, we will raise the rent another $24,000 for a year.
Do they know that?
Yes, ma'am. They have already agreed, and they have signed a memorandum of understanding with us, and we will be negotiating and signing a lease agreement change, which will reflect that for the next 15 years, the healthcare center will agree to pay that rent to us.
Because that kind of keeps them from having to build another building near their hospital or at a different site. Is that right?
Well, what it does to them, that they know that we are looking for them to operate the healthcare center for the residents of Leisure World only. They cannot operate outside business inside Leisure World at all. And what they are looking for is, they know that they have to operate, and they know we have a building. We are charging them reasonable, fair market rent for the project that we are going to complete, and they have agreed that they will continue to rent and fulfill our requirements for the next 15 years.
And how will Leisure World residents benefit by this project?
By a number of ways, I think there is a definite hope that you will have a modern, up-to-date facility. Second, you benefit because you are going to increase an asset in the community of almost worth $3 million, which will be paid for. And in the next few years, you will be able to receive a higher rent for that facility. But the best way you benefit for the convenience, you are able to utilize the services on premises and hope that you can attract new buyers into the community, which will know that you have a wonderful operating healthcare center, because as you know, everybody needs doctor's visits, somebody wants lab work, things like that. So I think this would be a wonderful attraction for the community for many, many years to come.
Let's see, what else did they want us to find out about?
I can give you something else that they'll be attracted to, and that is the new building will attract competent doctors, and we need to keep our building up in order to have
Yes.
the best doctors coming in.
That's true.
And the residents will benefit by that, too.
That's a very good point.
And I think the convenience, if you notice right now, I think Ms. Tuttle and I, when we were walking through it, right now we have so many lobbies, we have so many different areas. In this new building, you're going to see a very organized process of going through getting services which residents will find convenient for them to get, and hopefully will improve their sense of satisfaction about the community.
It's going to be easier access for them then to,
Yes, ma'am.
to find where they need to go for the different services and to
And-
find their doctors and all
And
that.
also, this new building has the opportunity to grow, because as you see, the demand will increase with the new changes in the healthcare industry laws. You know, more and more people are looking for joining health maintenance organization, and more people are looking for convenient transportation-wise. They will be able to use our facility internally, and you're going to find increase in use.
There's a lot of people in Leisure World that don't use the medical center, though.
There are some residents who don't use it, and the reasons for that is many of them may have different health maintenance organizations, and their health maintenance organization require them to go to their facility. Some residents like their own doctors. You know, if you've been with a doctor for many, many years, you may not want to change. Others, they have veterans. You know, we have some people who are tied in with their retirement programs. They have their previous employers'
Yes, right.
insurances provided to them. And then others who just want to do conventional treatment with their own family and physicians that they have known for many years.
Yeah, and it's very convenient, too. What are the projected dates for completing and occupying the new building?
Right now, Betty, we are working on preliminary preparation for the site, and we're going to be tearing down part of the healthcare center building. Our first phase is already pretty much completed by the end of this week now. First phase is, you know, last week of August actually. You're going to see all the doctors moving into the modulars, and in the second week of September we should have part of the demolition process going on, and sometime by the end of September you will see the groundbreaking and preparation for the grounds, and within next year to 14 months the entire project will be built and completed.
That's getting pretty exciting, isn't it? We're just about ready to wind this down now. Mildred, is there anything that you...
Well, I was just thinking, at the present time, we have a cadre of about 34 volunteers who are standing by to show the residents how to get around the new compact
Oh, that's
facility
good.
that we're using.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
people are very pleased with that, because, you know, when you suddenly uproot their regular space
Oh,
for their
yeah.
doctors, that disturbs them. So, and these volunteers have just come forward and given their time, which is just an aspect you find in Leisure World so
It is.
often.
It is. We have so many volunteers in Leisure World, and
I think, Betty, one thing I want to share this with you. I think that we can assure our residents, you know, the board has been so responsible in planning and organizing this project, and they have been very careful about making sure that the cost of this project remains firm, and also that it does not cost the residents any money, but
money,
add
no.
the asset to the community. That's been the really most important thing that we have done.
well, I tell you, I think this has been a very informative program, and I hope that most of the questions that our audience has been harboring have been answered. I know a lot of my questions have been answered, and I would like to thank you, Mr. Bill Narang and Mildred Tuttle. It was so good for you to come, too.
Thank you.
And for addressing these important issues. Possibly as these things go along, we can have another session and touch on what's being done and how the progress is coming along. Would you like to do that?
I would
Happy
love
to
to
do
do
it.
it anytime, you know. And I want to
Okay.
thank you for having us here, and please, if your audience or viewers would like to, they can, if they have more questions, they are welcome to come and ask myself or ask Ms. Tuttle, We'd
Absolutely.
be delighted to answer. And, we have published a lot of articles in the newspaper.
I
and
know
we
you have.
continue to give a lot of
I
information
know you have.
to the
In
residents.
fact, you have something in the paper today, I understand.
I
I
do.
haven't
Yes,
read
ma'am.
it yet, but
Yes, ma'am.
that's
Yes,
really
ma'am.
good to know.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.